cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. It's time again.
What up, y'all? You tuned in to the 52 Scott Podcast. This is Music Monday, and I'm your host, Slash. And with me, I got Comedian 96, K Money, Freddie G. Together, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. On Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. All right, and welcome back to another episode of Music Monday. Another great topic for you, of course. All right, so we're going to go into knowing that Diddy's trial took a turn. This is going to be part 2 of that episode. So, of course, we know there's been a lot of different celebrities on this case that's been, they're asking questions and they're giving their responses to, what they feel about Diddy and what he was doing, and if they had any effect, or if he had any effect on, something that they had going on. Now, one of the people who I feel like probably should have never been in there and put in front of this situation was Jaden Smith. He had like a breakdown, sort of, where he was kind of like, I'm too young to be in here listening to this. But is that because of the lifestyle of his parents? You know what I mean? Did they get him involved in this situation where is this a lifestyle of the Smith people? Why are they pulling him in to question him about what's going on about this? But Jaden kind of, he was like, why am I in here? I'm too young to be in here. This stuff is appropriate. And I feel that way too, because here's the thing. If you have a case mentioning and these people talking about different sexual acts, and you have, kids or minors in here or younger adults, they're not ready for that. I think the court should have some way made this, okay, we know these people going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with Diddy. Should we allow young adults in here? Is that inappropriate for young adults? I think the court should kind of have some control over that. I don't think, just like when Diddy's kids came in there and the stuff they was talking about when his children was in there, I think that was very inappropriate. If those children are young, they shouldn't be able to be in a trial with stuff going on like this. But the deal with this is there's so many different things, and honestly, what I feel about this case is the information that they're trying to pull up and bring forth for the jurors to decide on is already misleading. And the reason why I say it's misleading is because we know that those tapes of Biggie beating on Cassie but near the elevator, we know that was the main thing, but that's not what this case is about. So they're entering in evidence into this case that the case is not about. Of course, that was a civil suit that he had, and they're using that. But you're showing jurors something that has nothing to do with that case, because Diddy's not on trial with the federal people about abuse towards Cassie. That's not the case. It's racketeering, it's sex trafficking, and guns. So the thing is, I think it's misleading if you're gonna have, and here's another, and not just, I just feel like it's misleading. I'm gonna say that, but here too, as a juror, if I was a juror on there, and this is not part of the case, don't show me this video, because that's gonna make that man lose. That's not fair to Diddy. No matter what, we know what he did ain't right, but if that's not what he on trial for in this case, don't show those jurors that, because that's not fair. And the only reason I say that is because some news just came out where the news actually had some clippings of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has been pardoning a lot of people, and he has the power to do it. And by Trump being a friend of Diddy, Trump is considering pardoning him. And what he's saying is, if he can see where he's been wrongfully targeted, on this case that they trying to get him on, he will pardon Diddy.
All the films and all that stuff they found, the bunkers, the tunnels and all that in his houses, allegedly.
Yeah.
They're going to pardon him. He's
Donald
considering.
Trump
You say there's a video with Trump
He
saying
said,
this?
now the news had this.
Oh, the news
This is
reported
different news, and if I could pull it up now, I had it on here earlier, but I'm gonna go back to it. I'll find it, and I'll let you know what media source I got that information from. But he's basically saying, yeah, he'll consider it, and this was Fox News. He said that he'll consider it if the information reflects that Diddy's being wrongfully targeted for the crimes that they supposedly trying to lock him up. Now, him being charged or wrongfully charged, to me means that we didn't have a reason to lock you up, and the only reason we came after you is because Cassie had a civil suit that you settled out of court on. Is that why you coming after him? Because if you look at it from Donald Trump's angle, well, if that's not what he on trial for, how you come after him because of that tape? That ain't got nothing to do with what you got him on trial for. See, it's a lot of stuff in here that people got to really think about. Yeah, we seen the tape, we seen what he did, but these people have to literally prove a lot of stuff, even though they got footage. But now, I'm not saying that it looks good for Diddy. I'm not saying that he's in a perfect world and it's a perfect way for him, because the deal with this is, if you are accused of all of this stuff, man, these people are trying to give you a life sentence. You know, they don't want to give you nothing than a life sentence. But you still have this on the back end. Donald Trump is president, and he can actually pardon you. So, I mean, I just feel like it's a lot involved in this case. This case is going to go on for a long time. He had everybody speak out. I mean, the man mama done said, you know, she sorry for holding all this in for all this time. You know, the people giving up on him. He don't have nobody at his defense, which is why he got 10 defense attorneys.
Well, I mean, he got a wild card if that's true what Trump stated. You know what I'm
he
saying?
got a hell of
He got
a wild card.
And he's already pardoned, you know, the people, the folks that did the riot on January 6th.
Oh yeah, he got them out already.
So we just knowing his thought process, it doesn't make sense to us normal folk.
right.
So I could see him pardoning Diddy. You know,
I mean, when I knew the case was starting, knowing that Trump was the president, you know, in office at the time, I saw some old footage of Donald Trump interviewing Diddy way before these allegations, you know, and he was interviewing him basically about hip hop and that he did pretty good with what he's doing. He became successful with this label, da 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 da. I saw this interview where Donald Trump actually interviewed Diddy, so I know that they know each other.
I wonder if Trump attended any of these Diddy parties back in the day.
Man, that's a good question, bro. And I mean, I don't know what they do, but I think that all of this stuff, all of these people are friends. When it comes down to all of these sex trafficking charges and sex trafficking cases that they pull up on people such as Jeffrey Epstein, I think all of this stuff has something to do with these people know each other.
Yeah, they all tied in.
They all tied in.
I agree, bro.
You know, so do I feel like if Diddy went to jail, would Trump get him out? Yes, Trump would get him out based on two different things, and here's one. The fact that Diddy offered the federal people $75 million to bond out. Hey, can I pay my bond? Donald Trump can turn around and say, man, you was gonna offer them people $75 million to get you out of jail. I tell you what, you give me $100 million, I can get you out. Mm-hmm. And you know what Donald Trump gonna do with that money? Take it and go get him a hotel for free. He ain't pay, he ain't did nothing for this. Mm-hmm. See, what people gotta understand, man, money is what it is, bro. As much as we say we don't have it, you got to have it, man. Mm-hmm. In order for shit, I mean, you could see it. You see it happening every day. People been doing all kind of stuff, but as long as they got the money, they able to get out of whatever the trouble is. The man just pardoned those gospel people, the gospel husband and wife that messed them people out of $300 million. but this is the people he partnered. You know what I'm saying? He not partnering the person like me and you that ain't got no money, that's wrongfully put in jail. Why don't you go talk to them people if you truly want to be this what you're doing? But it's only the people who we feel like he got money. The man that let Larry Hoover out.
I saw that.
So there's a difference between a pardon and a commute. He pardoned the white couple.
So he didn't pardon Larry Hoover.
No, he commuted Larry Hoover.
So what does
There's
commuting mean?
There's a difference. So he pardoned the white couple, and he pardoned NBA Youngboy.
What does commuting mean?
I'm about to tell you. Commuted is where a sentence is reduced.
Okay.
A federal sentence is reduced. Larry Hoover is still facing 200 years in the state.
Okay, so he got, but he been in jail since 1973.
73.
Yeah, that was under life sentence.
Okay, so
under several life sentences. So let me give you an example. You can reduce a life sentence. Let's say if you got 5 life sentences, you can reduce it to 1 life sentence. That's considered a
and by
commuted.
you saying that, you just proved what I was saying. Larry Hoover ain't got no money. You won't even let this man out of jail, but you'll reduce his sentence. But if I got some money, you'll come pardon me. See, it's all about money.
Didn't he pardon a death row exec?
Yeah, he pardoned years ago. Oh boy, you know who
Yeah,
you know?
you talking about Harry O.
Harry O.
Harry O got money.
So that just further validates what you're saying.
Yeah, you got
But
a
that's
point.
why I say you got the normal American black man that's been wrongfully accused of crimes, that's in prison now on life sentences. Why don't you go help them? If you want to pardon some people.
And that's crazy. He commuted it. You say he had 5 life sentences. What if he just reduced it to 2? He's still gonna stay.
Man.
Well, as a federal sentence, he got commuted there, but he's still facing 200
So do you
years.
think he'll commute Diddy if Diddy get a life sentence?
Man, I have no idea of what Trump would do, but
Yeah,
I will
wouldn't
say
put
this.
it past him.
I will say this. I don't put nothing past him, and you just don't know what a dude's mindset is. Now, he did say, I did hear Trump say when the media asked him, will you pardon Diddy? They asked him straight up, will you pardon Diddy? He said, I don't know. I have to take a look.
He said he considered.
He considered. But he also
But he didn't say no.
Here's what he also said. We used to be friends. Alleged or something along the field. We used to be friends, but when I became president or something like that, I don't know
had
if
some words to say about him.
He doesn't like me or something.
And he also mentioned in the same Fox interview, no matter whether Diddy said he like him or not, he's still gonna look at his case as being fair. And if he feel like he was wrongfully targeted for this crime, he would consider pardoning the man. You know, but even still, the fact that Diddy's got the money, he can take whatever the money is, and I mean it's gonna be about the money, bro. The man ain't going to get nobody out. He pardoned what's the little NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy got some money though. You know what I'm saying? The people
Everybody's
who got a little change,
he's pardoning.
he pardoning these people, man. You know what I'm saying? But what about the people that's been in there all that time and they ain't got no money? You ain't even checking for them. But Donald Trump is talking about, oh, it's not about popularity. Yes, the fuck it is.
Popularity and how much money
But
you
and
you
got.
how
got-
much money you
yeah,
got.
what can you do for me?
You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, man, you know, this case is cracking a bunch of shit wide open about the government, Hollywood, and people that control these positions that's in charge. This case is opening up a lot of shit. And that's why it's not being televised, and you got to get certain information from wherever you can get your information from, because it's too much shit. And what they don't want to do is start locking everybody up, because that's what the fuck they gonna have to do. If they go and see, let me show you something. They pulling out all of the stops as far as the prosecution is pulling everybody in to say what they got to say, give a piece of what do you think, and they using all of this for the jurors to sit up and say, okay, do I think the man guilty or not? But hey, here's another thing I want to talk about. Earlier in this deal, 4 jurors left. Now, when you a juror on a case, you are on this case until this case is over.
over with.
Why is there 4 jurors missing? But I want to shed some light on 4 jurors being missing, because what a lot of people not thinking is if you keep losing jurors, they don't have the same information. You can get a hung jury.
Mistrial.
So
Mistrial.
Diddy got 10 defense attorneys. It's easy for any one of them to go and talk to any of them because they're an attorney. They can go and talk to the jurors and can find out what it is they need in their life to step away from this case. So if it comes out to where those people got away from that because they was offered some money, it's gonna be that's a case. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only thing that they got in their defense right now is to keep losing jurors because it's not looking good for him. They had an actual, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show, but there was an actual clip of Prince talking about the situation with Diddy and Cassie, and he's dead. So we know that there's some truth in that. There was no reason for Prince to lie years ago about something going on, you know. So I just feel like it don't look good for Diddy, but Diddy got stuff working in his favor because he can still get pardoned by Donald Trump if that goes the way he wants it. And he can make it go that way because of the money that he got, you know. Now, what would that do for him as far as even if he out? Is that going to make him a better person? I don't think so. Will he be able to continue doing business with some of these companies the way he have? I think he'll be successful in some areas because money talk. And what you did, you know, in your past, people really don't care about that because a lot of people are structured to take the money to do something, and that's not always the best, you know, because what I feel like is if you take some money from Diddy to help you build a bit, I wouldn't take no money from Diddy. Because once it comes out, man, Slash accepted some money from Diddy, X amount of dollars. Well, damn, what did Slash do for the money?
Yeah, you said something earlier in the show about Justin Bieber. And then you also said later that it's not being televised. I didn't know that. I didn't know this.
No,
trial
it's not a televised.
So it's gotten me to thinking. I'm like, well, is this possibly why it's not? Because not just Jaden, but you have Justin Bieber, and they're grown now.
They're grown now. Right?
But when this was happening, they were kids.
Yeah.
How many other kids that are now grown up, or even still kids now, are there going to be? That's going to be.
You know what? By the end of this trial, we're going to know exactly how many people.
Yeah, and that's going to paint an ugly picture. So I see why it's not on TV.
So it's not on TV because even prior to Diddy trial, they don't allow federal cameras in the
court.
Federal court.
That's
they
right.
allow them in state court, but not in federal court. So it doesn't matter who it is. They just don't allow cameras in federal court, and it's been like that for decades.
Okay, then never mind. That was just my assumption. You know, I'll be putting 2 and 2 together, getting 17.
Now I got a question for K Money.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned about the Diddy parties.
Yeah.
I've been kind of following the trial myself, right?
Yeah.
And I know the rumor is that Diddy got these parties, these whatever type of parties, but everything that I've heard so far when it comes to the trial itself doesn't have anything to do with a party at all. All I heard was freak-offs, which is totally different from the party. And the freak-off only, so far that I've heard, only include Diddy, Cassie, and male strippers. That's a male stripper. That's totally different from my mindset. I think about a party. So I'm trying to find out how do the Diddy party tie in, because I've only so far there's only been a few witnesses who testified.
So I think why that the two are like that, because some of this stuff takes place after the parties, whether or not he hired somebody to come in after those parties. Well, some of those people are actually at those all-white parties. They were there. The strippers were there. They were hired to be there. And then when it's over, they go where they go and do what they gonna do because they already there in town or whatever. Hopefully they lived in that state. But what they trying to get him on is, did you have these people come from another state across this state line? And did you pay them to have sex with that girl.
Well,
That's sex trafficking.
Yeah, I would agree.
If them dudes were at those white parties, they done lied then. Because Daniel Phillips and Shay Ray Harris, those were the 2 male strippers that's been paid. And
Well, the one Sheree guy, he said that he was from the same city, so he never crossed a state line.
Well, yeah. So transportation of engaged in sexual prostitution doesn't necessarily mean you got to cross the state line, but at the end of the day, transportation, you were transported to actually engage in sex. But what I'm saying is, it seems like that these freak-offs was separate from these white parties that we know of.
They were.
It's still early in the case, and I'm sure, the longer it goes on, the more information I'm sure is going to come out to where it may show the common, factor where the freak-offs and the parties come in together, if at all. That's just a guess on my part.
It's just, man.
But again, not to cut you off, Slab, but again, the prosecution is trying to paint a picture. So whatever they can say and however much they can continue saying to make it look a certain type of way, they're going to continue doing. So,
It's just that, man, with stuff like this, bro, certain things, and I'm just going to say because the type of person I am. If it ain't got nothing to do with it being the right thing to do, I don't want to have no parts in it. You know what I mean? And because of who you are, your stature of person needs to show that that's who you are at all times. Ain't nobody supposed to be getting on no stand saying they was scared of you, that you was causing these problems, you was abusive verbally or what, none of that. So whatever he's in there on, I believe he did something because these people is looking at that. But what these people are saying about you, and for you to be the character that you are and to have the type of money you shouldn't be this. Your character is all out of line, period. Be an upstanding citizen if you got money and take care of your business. But being verbally abusive to people that work for you and coercing certain stuff for you to do certain stuff, man, that ain't what's up, bro. You got people, what you do in your bedroom, it ain't a crime to be gay. It ain't a crime to be a freak. No, it's not. But the shit that you doing that these people having to come and say in this courthouse, bro, you brought this on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Nothing I would do would have people come back and say nothing about me about that, like that. So my thing is just, if Diddy do the time, if he get the time, I think he deserved what the people give him. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not the judge in this. I'm not the juror. But whatever the case is, I still feel like, yeah, there's some guilty parts of him by the way he treat women, but that's not what he on trial for. So, a lot of people get it twisted, and in order for these jurors and him to get a fair trial, these jurors all have to have the same information, and they cannot be misconstrued with the words or with something that went on that they don't have full information on prior to them coming into the case or the trial. So, my thing is just, it's getting worse. And we how many weeks into this? Maybe 1 or 2 weeks into this? We 8 weeks into this? No, we're not 8 weeks already. It's supposed to last 8 to 10 weeks.
It's like the third week.
The second or third week.
Yeah, second or third week.
And it's still more people to take the stand. So that's why I say them people really got something on him. They ain't even brought that out yet. So Diddy's defense team is going to have to come with all they stops or everything they got. But then right at the end of this trial, the feds is going to come with something that's not going to release Diddy, man. He should know that. You know what I'm saying? You sitting in there, bro, them people going to wait right to the end of this and going to say, bam, you can't get past this, nigga. We got you. So Diddy, you know what, man? Just sitting there, think about what you did. Try to hope this makes you a better man mentally. Hope it makes you a stabilized citizen and learn how to treat people. Because you got money don't mean you're supposed to treat people unfairly or, ugly toward. That's not how it's supposed to go. So, man, my thing is, do what you do, man. Keep it real with yourself first. But Diddy, you wrong. I'm gone. Peace.
So that's all, y'all, for this edition of Music Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Come back tomorrow and check out True Tuesday with K Money. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Scott Podcast. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast.